Hey friends, when Borderlands 4 was revealed at Gamescom Opening Night Live back in 2024, I was extremely excited for this new entry. Now that Borderlands 4 is finally out, I've been playing it. Surprise, surprise, I know. I would say that Borderlands 4 is the spiritual successor to Borderlands 2. After playing 100 hours of this game, I can honestly say that I'm extremely happy with the end product. If they could just tweak certain aspects of it, then I honestly believe that this would be the best Borderlands game in the series. And hey, if you really enjoy this content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And I'll be making more reviews, and I hope you guys hang around. Thank you guys so much. Much love, really appreciate it. But let's get right back into it.
So, you want to hear a story, huh? Yeah, old Marcus still has a few tales to tell. And this is the start of something new. A spark that just might leave the galaxies themselves ablaze.
Let's start with the main story. It's safe to say that this story is by far leagues ahead of Borderlands 3. I won't spoil anything, but due to the events of the previous game, a planet that was previously shielded and had an invisible cloak is revealed, Kairos. Kairos is a prison planet ruled by the Timekeeper, a tyrant who controls its inhabitants through cybernetic implants known as bolts. And of course, the Timekeeper is protecting and controlling this planet because there is a vault. And when there is a vault, there are vault hunters. As a vault hunter, you are taken into custody on the planet, and your job is to close that vault. You can choose from 4 different vault hunters: Eamon, the bruiser axe user; Vex, the necromancer like Siren; Harlow, the crowd controller, former scientist destroyer; and Rafa is the former TDR soldier with his blades to slice his enemies. The story is great, in my opinion. The villain feels menacing and causes real situations of grief and issue. The cast of characters you meet are by far the best in the franchise. While they aren't wacky or crazy, they feel grounded to the material, and you are rooting for them all the way, unlike some characters. Borderlands 3. The wild and crazy backdrop has been toned down to a darker, more human story of fighting with the resistance, hope in a hopeless environment, and what the human can withstand when faced against all odds.
I'd convinced myself I'd never leave Kairos or see my family again. It was easier. Hope can be emotionally debilitating. But suddenly, it feels good to hope again.
But seriously, we've all been sitting with the dread that we'd never leave. Even Rush, for all his upbeat energy. We're gonna do this. I know it.
Some people might not like that it's been pulled back and it might have lost its Borderlands identity, but for me, this is honestly what I've been waiting for. Something that takes the gimmicks and stupid toilet humor out for a more honest and real story like Borderlands 1 was. This doesn't mean that all of the laughs and the jokes are gone. It just means a more well-rounded story with a fulfilling conflict that actually happens. My only gripe would be the Vault Hunters. They don't say much except for some one-liners and the occasional conversations. I wish there were more side quests diving into their background. You do get parts from different collectibles scattered across the world, but they end up just being more funny moments than a backdrop to the character you are playing.
Oh, and your birthday. You never wanted anything. I could never find a gift that was worthy of you. But I tried. I really did try. I'll pay those monsters back, Malcolm. One by one. Goodbye, love.
Overall, I look at Taylor Clark, the lead writer of Borderlands 4, and her interview with IGN, and she said the grounded tone was a priority. It was definitely in the brief from the beginning, to make the tone fit the world. I think the whole writing team at Gearbox deserves their flowers for this one. I was a bit skeptical on the whole thing, especially after Borderlands 3, but I am happy to say that the story and writing really hit it out of the park, in my opinion. I can't wait to see what they produce next. let's let's talk about the elephant in the room. Issues with optimization. Yeah, graphics are kind of a mess. There's been so many issues with the optimizations. Things like not getting a steady frame rate, even with all the recommended settings, the requirement for frame generation that can cause artifacting, the day one driver issues being borked and causing more stuttering, slow FPS, and frame drops. Even with 5090s, people were still getting stuttering and frame drops constantly. To be honest, it's hard to recommend if you don't have a decent, beefy system. Something that can run frame generation. I was running at 1440p with my 4070 at high settings to medium settings, and I was constantly getting below 60 FPS with frame generation and DLSS on. There are plenty of workarounds, mods that help with the issue, but honestly, out of the box, if you have to rely on somebody else to fix your game, that is not good. That being said, I did enjoy the updated graphics. Having basically an open world Borderlands game with these level of details is crazy. Also, destructible objects felt great and added a sense of scale with these fights. Unfortunately, there were moments when I thought the saturation was a bit dialed up. There is another issue that I had, which was the screen clutter. When I was mainly playing alone, I didn't have any issues with this. Unfortunately, this game is mainly a co-op game that you play with other people, and with all of the effects going off at once, it can be a lot. It becomes kind of crazy to look on screen. Effects from multiple Vault Hunters can cause my eyes to actually hurt. Honestly crazy. Like, I had to take moments of breaks and be like, okay, let me look away from the screen for a second because there were so many effects going off. With no way of toning down the effects, it can be a guessing game on where you should be shooting and where you should be looking. I was playing with a friend that was running the Necromancer Siren build, and it was hard to see where the enemies were. I wish they added a possible outline to show where they were, or just a way to only show your effects. Realistically, I don't think that they can do that. More or less a gameplay centric idea, but just having more accessibility options so my eyes don't bleed from all of the colors that are going off. I think that this game would have really benefited from some more time with optimization, but I'm not sure. These are big features or big issues that it seems like Gearbox has not learned their lesson on. Also, the game is innately dark, so I had to make sure my brightness was up 2 notches than what I would typically have it.
Do not flee! A pocket apocalypse!
Sound design was on a whole different level. Even though I had to tweak some things to fit my exact sound profile, I loved the weighty sound of bullets hitting things and people. It just added a sense of heaviness to it in a great way. I mentioned how much in my preview I enjoyed this, and I can honestly say that it doesn't wane on me at all. Overall, while sound design was at its best, graphics and optimization were bad. Like, really bad. Same with the screen clutter and overall effects. While this didn't stop me from enjoying the game, it was hard to justify the issues in the beginning. Over the couple of days and weeks, they have patched it to make it run better, but there are still issues, and unfortunately, I'm reviewing it from when I first played it, which is day 1. Let's hope they learn something from this. And maybe they have. They just recently delayed the Borderlands 4 release on Switch 2 indefinitely. Hopefully, this gives them the time to take a look at their engine, or take a look at their gameplay, or take a look at what they can bring to it so they can have a smoother launch, because this was an issue. let's talk about the Vault Hunters this time around. Like before, there are 4 Vault Hunters with 3 different playstyles. The variety you have with classes is greatly increased in this game. Played as Eamon for my 100 hours and found myself constantly switching from different specs because I wanted to try a different build. My favorite was Cybernetics, which let me summon axes, swords, and hammers to fight alongside me. While I can't speak for all the Vault Hunters, I had a fantastic time playing with Eamon. And with the emphasis on priming and detonating, it added a whole new layer to this game. Priming is when you hit an enemy with effects like cryo or prio, and they are primed with the element. Detonating is when you use an ability to basically make that enemy explode. The effects could be area effect damage, lifesteal, freezing, or anything in between. In the tree, you get to choose your active skill, which is your main ability. For example, Cybernetics uses Crucible, which lets you summon 2 axes to throw at enemies. On top of that, as you go down the tree, you choose one augment that changes how your active skill works. For example, Blue Tempest makes your axes into swords and lets you choose between flame and shock, and could throw a barrage of swords at the enemy. Last addition is a capstone, which in my case changes how my secondary skill, Double Edge, is used. For example, Storm Surge adds shock damage and creates a Forge Storm, which is basically a bubble of shock that deals damage over time. The build variety has really expanded out with the different ideas and causing myself to think hard about the build I wanted to use or tweaks I wanted to make. Not only that, but it gets me to want to try other builds to see if they work better. I think that this system is the best in the series, and I have never wanted to keep trying other builds like I did here. All right, let's talk about the open world. This open world is vast. It's seamless, sort of. The seamless open world is new to the franchise. It isn't fully seamless, but honestly, most of the time you won't even notice the loading screens unless you're going into specific areas like boss layers or trying to migrate to another map while your teammate is on a different side of the map. This was a welcomed addition because it adds to the overall feel of the expanding world. The old ways of constantly switching maps wasn't bad. I didn't mind it, but now that I've got a taste of this, I never want to go back to that. All future entries should have this open world map idea. Some issues that arose from the map were stuff like invisible walls, as per usual, and it honestly didn't clearly depict what you can or can't climb on. Also, the map can get confusing, especially when you try to complete it, because sometimes it doesn't show that the specific item you want to collect is actually in a cave somewhere underground. Maybe just like showing an emblem that just says it's down below or something like that. That would fix my issues with it. Okay, let's talk about enemies and bosses. While in these massive maps, you will find yourself fighting many types of psychos called Rippers because they ripped out their cybernetics that causes their brain to go crazy. Not only them, but you will fight the Timekeeper's henchmen called the Order. These guys look crazy, unique. They look like they just came out straight from the sci-fi movie. The world is teeming with life, from monsters and their pack roaming across the land to Rippers having fights with each other. And the worst of all, by far the worst enemy of all time, in my opinion, in all of Borderlands, is Thrashers. They're back. I do not like them. I hate this enemy. Maybe that's the point, but I get such a visceral reaction every time I see them. The bosses have been refined to add raid-like mechanics to them. For example, let's talk about the first boss, Idolater Saul. He places highlights on the ground for you to run and grab the green marker specifically so you can make him vulnerable. It's like a small detail. Not all bosses do this, but for that particular boss, I was really happy with. He moved around like a raid boss. There was like points where you couldn't exactly stand in a certain location because it was highlighted and stuff like that. I want more of these type of boss fights. Bullet sponge bosses are fun, but they can get a little repetitive, which I'll mention later. what are we doing in this massive world of Kairos? Well, I did some side quests during the story, but after finishing it, I went back and made sure I did them all. Some of them I enjoyed, and it's safe to say that they have some of my favorite side quests. Unfortunately, all side quests aren't made equally. Some side quests had you repeating things that you did in previous quests, but more shorter and less engaging. These were definitely boring. And then there are quest lines like the mob quest or the call for help quest that add so much love to an otherwise throwaway character. For example, one of my favorite side quests is her own funeral, which has you uncovering Naheli's tragic story. She was taken from her family, tortured until her mind broke, and then set on a rampage of vengeance in search of answers. In the end, she became the very thing that destroyed her.
You can't expect me to eat them. Why not? The weak shall be divided for the consumption of the strong. It's nothing personal. You certainly know about that. Oh, no! Oh!
Naheli, what did you do? It's like you wanted to be the Ripper Queen.
I love when side quests add background on characters you never really thought hard about, or if they introduce a character that doesn't overstay their welcome. It's just stupid fun, like the PB&J quest.
Done it! Finally, my life has meaning! Finally, I can create the ultimate feast! After 20 years of searching and perfecting the flavors, I finally have the plastic for P, butt stuff for B, goop for J!
Goop starts with G.
God damn it!
Unfortunately, there were some quests that were bugged. The Hangover Helper quest, the enemy stopped spawning, and I had to go into the menu to reset them. Or Wayward Gun, where I would get to the boss, and he would just stand still, staying there, confused. And then I had to reset it 2 times to get it to work. Overall, I found myself enjoying the side quests. Well, not all side quests are amazing. The ones that stand out really show the writing chops and makes you appreciate the change they did for the game. With this big of a map, there are plenty of different things to collect. For example, things like the silo you do to unlock the vault fragments, or the different type of dungeons from bunkers and mines. Even world bosses, clearing propaganda speakers, and world events like the arena fight. It helps flesh out the map and requires you to explore more. It kept me engaged, intrigued to want to complete the map. And I don't usually end up doing those things. I have a very specific nitpick when it comes to collectibles, and it's the supply capsule. It's a type of mission that you grab and you have to deliver by hand. No teleporting or riding on your bike. It's just a bit boring, and Claptrap is just yapping at you the whole time. I could have done with less of these. Thankfully, these are all optional. Okay, vaults. Even though there are only 3, vaults are a new type of dungeon experience. The only way to unlock them are through silos that are scattered across the world. Once unlocked, they will show the general location for the keys, and you will have to find them. At the moment, I've only done 2 of the 3, but my experience was overall good. This isn't crazy hard content, and you mainly jump from platform to platform till you reach the boss. I feel that if they added more mechanics to all of these fights, it would be a lot more interesting than just jump to this platform, shoot these enemies, jump to the next platform, shoot these enemies, just like a constant thing. Maybe add a little spice in there. New addition to Borderlands 4 is world bosses, which are random encounters scattered across the world. They show up in a bubble and you have to fight them in there. If you die or walk out of the bubble, the encounter ends. This is fun, but it's nothing more than a bullet sponge boss. They are always worth doing, 100%. They are always worth doing. And there's a decent variety of world bosses, but for some reason in the beginning, I was always getting the same world boss. Eventually it changed, but it's just like funny, something funny to note. The Exterminator. I got the Exterminator 3 times in a row, which I thought was funny, and I was like, oh shit. Is it only one world boss? But eventually I started getting others. But anyways, just a funny note. Okay, let's talk about loot. Guns got a major change when it comes to manufacturers. Now guns have the ability to have multiple manufacturers associated with them. For example, Kettled Watching Truck is a sniper rifle that uses Hyperion shields and Jacob's critical hit ricochet projectiles. On top of that, the enhancement slot can add additional attributes to the weapon that uses specific manufacturer parts and give bonuses. Another great addition is firmwares. Firmwares are basically set bonuses that can be randomly dropped on specific pieces of your equipment. They are basically tier sets. So for example, Deadeye is a firmware that can drop with equipment. It gives increased gun accuracy by 30% on the first tier, gun critical damage 25% on second, and every critical hit grants 15% critical damage per stack for 10 seconds. Max 5 stacks on tier 3. Let's say you want to transfer these firmwares to other equipment. You use the new firmware transfer machine. It's a one-time transfer. Once it's moved, the firmware is locked on the equipment. These features add a lot of build variety and gives you a sense of chase to keep farming for that perfect drop and firmware. My issues with it were my own fault. I honestly believed that the firmware machine in the beginning was a way to customize your weapons. I'm a little disappointed in that, but having these things in the game and having the ability to really customize what you want is a welcomed and appreciated thing. Now, if they could add a machine that can swap different manufacturer parts on different guns, I wouldn't be opposed. So, Gearbox, think about it, maybe. Let's talk about some quick quality of life changes that honestly are great, kind of. Map navigation has been a pain point for me constantly. Previously, I mentioned that the map would be confusing and it wouldn't really help me find exactly where I need to go. But with the addition of Echo and the ping system, this issue has been mostly alleviated. You set a pin down and a line appears to lead you to its destination and directs you the best path forward. My only gripe is with this addition, it doesn't always lead you to the correct spot, or in the beginning, it would randomly change to another location, and I would be following this line for a long period of time just for me to realize that was the case. And also, the line disappears quite frequently, but thankfully, there is a setting that you can change. People were saying to change it to short. If it's on short, then it makes the ability of spamming it a lot easier, so you don't have to keep on constantly waiting for the line to disappear and a few seconds afterwards. So hopefully that helps. Even with this issue, this is a welcome change, and I'm extremely happy with it being added. Another simple quality of life change was the automatic junk and sell junk with one button. A simple yet effective addition of automatically junking an item before you pick it up and sell the item at a shop before you go into the menu. Spawning on teammates directly. A wonderful quality of life feature that honestly I can't go back without. I love this feature mainly because sometimes, for example, we're in the middle of a dungeon and maybe I need to go and sell stuff. So then I teleport my way out to the nearest place to sell stuff, and then I just directly teleport back. It's ease of use. It's simple, effective, and it helps alleviate some issues on trying to make room, especially when you're in the middle of a dungeon. Having the ability to summon your vehicle wherever you are, great addition. I will miss Scooter and Catch a Ride. I will miss that, but still great quality of life change. Upon completion of the main story, now you have the end game. End game breaks down like this. First off, we have Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. Ultimate Vault Hunter mode is a new difficulty option you unlock by completing some challenges in your menu and culminating in a mission called the Wildcard mission. The Wildcard mission, once finished, will unlock the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode level. It starts from level 1 and goes up to level 5. The Wildcard mission is a specific mission from anywhere in the story. Complete the mission and challenges, and you will get up to the next Vault Hunter level. The main reason for going into these higher levels of Ultimate Vault Hunter mode is for better loot, more chances at legendaries, and higher percentages on equipment. But still, better chances, better loot, Papa John's. I do enjoy this feature, and it gives you more opportunities to chase. I just wish that the wildcard missions were more zoned in on a specific battle. Maybe like a boss fight. They just spawn you right outside of the boss lair. That'd be great. But With what we have now, you have to go through the whole story mission, cutscenes, voice dialogue, and all. And it kind of gets a little repetitive and a little boring, but I mean, you don't really have to pay attention since you've done it before. But for me personally, it's just something that I wish they kind of condensed. Next, you have your weeklies, which break down like this. You have your weekly wild card mission, which is different than the Ultimate Vault Hunter wildcard mission. Moxie's big encore machine is basically a way for you to repeat bosses for loot. And for the weekly, it would pick out a specific boss on the map, and it gives you a higher percentage chance at getting legendaries. And last for the weeklies, we have Maurice's Black Market. He sells unique items for Iridium, but unfortunately you can only buy one item from that black market, and the black market changes locations every week. Another endgame feature is specializations. The way I describe specializations is they're kind of like Guardian ranks or Paragon points in Diablo 3. After finishing the campaign, you accumulate XP to another bar for specializations. You spend the points on 4 different trees that add more damage, more health, more physical attacks, or more reload speed and accuracy. Also, once you unlock it, it unlocks for any additional characters. Overall, the weekly missions, Moxie's big encore machine, specializations are great additions. And with them adding invincible bosses, pearlescent rarity, and DLC, I can hope that it fleshes out the endgame more, because for me, at the moment, it's not too interesting and won't keep me for too long. Even with all of the technical issues, the problems with the optimizations, graphics, navigation's not helping at times, broken missions, lackluster endgame, screen clutter, and needing of more specific accessibility options for viewable enjoyment, I still recommend this game. It is, by far, the best Borderlands game since 2. With the endless quality of life changes, a fantastic story with a true villain, side quests that are honestly some of the franchise best, a beautiful, diverse world with things to do, loot to chase, and my want to try other classes, I think that you will get your money's worth. I just hope that Gearbox really takes the time to hear us out so we can have the best Borderlands experience to date. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I had so much fun playing Borderlands 4 over the past 2 weeks or so, and I will be back and checking out the DLC when they drop, so follow for more content. So anyways, if you guys like this content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out the channel tremendously, and I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support you've had checking out my short form contents. I really do appreciate everything. Thank you guys so much. And I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. See you guys.